Today's topic is a continuation of something that I've touched upon very briefly in the previous video, but it's also something that I've mentioned in many, many other videos before, but that I'm not really conscious of a lot of the times. If you are like me, I used to be a huge overthinker, and actually I kind of still am. I'm still learning to let go. I'm still learning to go more with the flow, trust my feelings, and go towards what feels right for me without trying to see all the traps, without trying to solve everything as an equation before actually living through it. I used to be the star of that, overthinking through everything. I needed to know all the possibilities before taking a step because I would be so afraid to fail, but also so afraid of what the repercussions would be of failing. Because failing is not necessarily failing. I always knew that I would stand up again, but sometimes you get drilled into your mind so much that you have to be a certain way, or have to live your life a certain way, and if you don't, you will be outcasted by society. Maybe this has been showed to you by parental figures or by your community growing up, that if you do not behave in a certain way, you would get bashed, or you would get judged, or you would get to make feel like what you do is wrong. And I am a person that is very sensitive. I feel a lot, and I have also felt like my feelings for most of my life have been something very dangerous. That my feelings doing what felt right oftentimes doesn't always give the outcome that I wanted to have, which is not necessarily bad, because in this day, I can consciously, confidently say that I'm actually very happy that I've always followed my heart in certain ways, because it has led me to become the person I was meant to be. It has led me to meet the people that I was meant to meet. And yes, this might not always be conventional. Yes, you might go through pathways that to society is deemed as bad, is deemed as unworthy, is deemed as unfulfilling, or that people just cannot grasp fully. But I would not be me today if it wasn't for the decisions that I've made, if it wasn't for the valleys I've walked through, for the dark times and the bright times, but especially the dark, because as an artist, I'm speaking right now, it is oftentimes through your pain that you find so much strength. So how, as an artist, can you find your potential? Can you confidently walk forward in life in a society that is preventing you from failure, from pain, from everything that is deemed bad, because there is a shame around certain feelings and expressions? If you are in the arts in any type of sense, there is this beauty in the arts where we are able to express and convey feelings to people. We are a safe space where in a daily life, people are able to slow down and recognize themselves in ways that perhaps in their working lives they're not able to do. So as an artist, it's kind of crucial that we are able to transmute also the feelings that a lot of the times in society we are avoiding. But how can you be that vessel? How can you be that portal or reflection if you yourself have never been fully interested or went into that darkness? If you are afraid of embracing the full spectrum of your feelings, of experiences, of the emotions, right? I have noticed that even in relationships, this comes up a lot for me. For example, I'm going to give an example, is that there is an idea of how women should be treated, of how men should be treated, of how certain interactions should be conducted, how certain people should move, who should reach out first, who should pay the bill, how long certain things should take, what things should look like, how you should interact with the family, everything, right? But a lot of the times we revert back to these structures, to these scripts, to have a sense of belonging, to have a sense of reassurance that you're doing something right, because we want fulfillment and we want happiness, and at the end of the day we are human beings, so we do want to have that recognition. And there will be moments in life where you are completely lost, where you will take decisions that nobody else will be able to face the repercussions with you, where you will have to go through a storm all by yourself. But when you follow the script, a lot of the times it's easier because you will have a community that can actually tell you that what you did was right or wrong, and you can find that reassurance. Because a lot of people don't have the resilience. Maybe that's a controversial thing to say, but perhaps a lot of people do not have the mental resilience to fail a certain thing and actually get back up and not internalize their failure as their own. Things happen to everyone, but it takes a very strong mind and a lot of willpower to lose, to grieve, to see something fail but get back up again and tell yourself that this is part of life, but that this does not reflect who you are or how worthy you are or how good you are at something. It can be very freeing as soon as you let go of the idea of what you should do, of who you should be, or trying to fit yourself into a certain script for somebody that looks like you. This can be religion, this can be culture, this can be your gender. There are many different scripts and we don't fit to one, right? And a lot of the times intersectionality, if you study intersectionality, we find ourselves at a crossroad of many different forms of identity. And it can be very confusing. And me, myself, I've always been at a crossroads, being half white and half black, having European descendants, half African, being in a mixed culture, speaking different languages at home, being with my father who doesn't believe, and then having a very religious mother. My life and my identity has always been at a precise intersection, and it has always been very difficult for me to actually find out what is right for me, what script I should follow. So it's something that I've always been very conscious of and always very reflective about. And at a certain point, you make choices. You think, no, maybe I'm this, so I will follow this script. At some points in life, you think, no, actually, I do agree more with this. But I've always felt the need to feel the freedom to redirect at all times. Because when you force yourself to fit within a certain script, sometimes it means that you have to block out your intuition. We can only know ourselves through experience. And yes, in a moment right now, you can make a decision for your next step, but we cannot assume that we will know how we will feel in 20 years. We cannot assume that we know everything that will happen, because life is, yes, partially our own making, our own decisions, but there's also a lot of external circumstances that shape who we are. A lot of people we meet will broaden our perspective on the world and of ourselves. We meet people that reflect different parts of us, that broaden our view on life. We get new perspectives. And with these pieces of information, we have the freedom to redirect. But a lot of the times, there is an internal conflict between the mind and the heart when we try to force ourselves to fit within certain scripts, when actually the script you were following is already outdated. The script you were following was outdated for the person you had become since you chose to follow that script. Sometimes they get outdated. Sometimes we need to let go and review, because we are ever changing, and that is okay. A lot of the harm comes with trying to fit into a story that is not for us or no longer for us. Every season also has its reason. And I do believe that it's still the power of being a human being is having our feelings, and the fact that different events or a same event can evoke different emotions for every single person really reflects our uniqueness and is a reflection of our intuition. It is that feeling that we have, it is those feelings evoked within us that are the compass to our life, to our path, to the journey for us ahead. And no other person has ever walked in your shoes and never will. So no one can truly know what's good for you or what path to take. So it's very sometimes irresponsible to not listen to your feelings, because your feelings tell you way more than sometimes you want to admit. I've had to notice this for myself as well. As soon as I try to let go of a script, of a logical reason why something would be right for me or why I should or should not do something, and I just follow what is going on internally, if I think about something too much and I'm trying to force myself to be inactive regarding this, it will just start to consume me with overthinking, because there's a clash. There is a dissonance. There is a confusion, a conflict. And there is this freedom when you just allow yourself to see past the fear, which we try to resolve with a script, with a structure, with a conventional path forward, which should logically make sense. But the spirit is beyond our comprehension. The spirit knows things before our mind can understand. And it's the history. It carries the history of your body, everything you've been through. And it can put links about what is safe for you and what isn't. And sometimes we are the ones holding ourselves back by not listening to those feelings. And this has really come back for me in acting as well. This year, one of my biggest feedback points from the judges when it came to acting was that I hold on too much control, that I really have to learn to let go of control and be more present. And as I said in my previous video, pursuing performing arts and being in the arts has really pushed me to be more present, to feel my emotions more freely, to be more conscious and to really sit in them more and to use them. And it has made me notice that I have always been quite afraid of just reacting, and life just shapes you in a way that you have to learn to be stoic with everything and conduct yourself in a proper manner and not be emotional. And we kind of learn to zone out, tune out our emotions in this world. It is not possible, like I could not fathom living in this world with all the chaos of emotions, and we also shouldn't as adults. That's something children do. It's not a bad thing to learn to control your emotions. Actually, it's very important you do. But to learn that there is a safe space where you are able to fully feel your emotions, which for me is the scene during acting where you are required to be fully present. It's very confrontational in a way that it really shows you that, yes, you have learned to control yourself, but you have never really learned to do the opposite, and you have never really felt safe to feel your feelings fully in a controlled environment and way. Sometimes the environment needs to be controlled in order for the feelings to feel safe to just arouse. But it does help me also to trust myself more, to trust my feelings more, because I feel like with knowing that there is a safe space for me to feel those feelings, and knowing where the safe spaces aren't, because this also goes hand in hand with trusting that you have the right boundaries, trusting that you know when something feels wrong, trusting that yes, perhaps you can move on a certain feeling now, but that you can recognize that when something doesn't feel right, you will also walk away. So it really forces you to find that balance between going forward, but also protecting yourself, trusting yourself with your feelings fully. Boundaries make such a big part of that. It's such a big part of that. I think for me, a lot of the overthinking was that I did not have good boundaries, that I would betray myself, that I did not trust my own feelings, that I would go back and forth all the time, that I would take a step because something feels right, but then I would revert back to the script in my head and maybe doubt like, I took that step, but was it actually right? Overthink people's behavior, overthink, and then you self-sabotage a lot of the times as well. So that was also because I didn't trust that if something would go wrong, that I would be able to handle it. Because somewhere I was still trying to rely on the script while also moving on my intuition. But finding the line between these two is also very dangerous. I think you either do or you don't, because the in-between can be very mentally taxing. I don't know if that really makes sense. I put it in a bit of a black and white saying. It's not all that black and white, but if you understand what I'm saying, all good. If you don't worry about it. So yeah, the power sometimes really lies in letting go of the script. But are you able to do that? Are you able to trust your feelings? Are you willing and able to really listen to what you feel? No matter how uncomfortable it is and how unlogical it might seem to other people. That was the little piece of knowledge I had for you today that I felt. I hope you really liked the message. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about it. If anything stood out for you, feel free to leave a comment. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. Oh, sure, if you think that anyone might need this information. If you're an artist, let me know what you do. I'm really interested. I would really like to hear more from you as well. And yeah, you'll hear from me again. See you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.